On Friday, May 6th, we're going to have a great show for you. It's going to be an afternoon show called An Afternoon with Elvis with Frank Torino. Doors open at 1:30 and it's from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. and it's $5 per person. Appetites and beverages are included in that, and he will have on his wonderful Elvis costume for part of the presentation. And ladies, some of the ladies will receive an Elvis scarf. So I thought that was pretty fantastic, right? And I got that idea from going to see Dwight Eisenhower, which is one of the best Elvis performers. I went to the signing to see him in Port Charlotte. And everyone was really fascinated when they could go up and get a kiss on the cheek and get a scarf. So I was like, yeah, I'm still in that one shamelessly. I'm bringing that back here, baby. So that's exactly what I did. So please come out and join us on Friday, May 6th. Also, if you like to gamble, if you feel lucky, we will be heading over to the Isle of Capri Casino in Pompano Beach for a casino trip. $35 per member, $40 per non-member. And that is on Thursday, May 26th. It's a lovely day trip. You will receive a $10 food voucher, a $10 free play and a $4 all food voucher, and it's the cleanest casino, and I absolutely love it. Free beverages all day long, and no, you do not have to buy alcoholic beverages while you're playing. So, again, that's Thursday, May 26th, and also for all of you sports lovers, we are heading over to Tampa Bay Rays to view the game between the Rays and the Yankees, and that is on Friday, May 27th. $92 per member and $97 per non-member. And the reason why I love the Tropicana field is because it's an indoor field, that's number one. And number two, they allow you to carry small coolers inside. So if you want to carry water or your own personalized snacks, you can do that as well. So those are some of the events that we have coming up, and I'd love for you to join us. Also, we have free lunch and learns. So if you want to join us, we have a lunch and learn on Wednesday, May 4th. Absolutely free. And the topic is going to be how to make your home safer. And we're going to have Griswold Home Care here, and also a local contractor will be here as well. And the lunch will be catered by Publix Deli. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you learned something new. I hope you enjoyed the snacks, and I hope to see you next time. Please give a round of applause for George Fomitchev.
Hello, everyone. Hello. We have some people still coming because we decided to start a little bit earlier. My name is George Fomitchev, and I'm from Russia. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm a founder of a startup called Endurance. So we make robots, and we want to bring them in our life. So let me just first ask you some questions. So how many of you are already dealing with robots? Okay, 1, 2, 3, okay. What about you, sir?
Pardon?
Do you deal with robots?
I work with a lot of software and electronics. I have in the past, but not lately, no.
You don't deal with them now, don't you?
Well, in our daily lives, we encounter them in different ways.
Okay. What about Google search? Everyone's doing Google, right? Who has iPhones?
Software
iPhones, right? You don't use Siri? Also robotics technology. So I'm going to talk to you about what global outlook for robotics technology will look like. So if you consider that we have like 21st century is over, so how do you think robots should look like? Should they look like humans, or should they look like machines that are obviously not human-like? What do you think?
Machines.
Either or.
Okay, 1 point. Machines? Why?
I don't think I like something walking around that looks like a human.
Okay, good point.
Japan is making some that look human right now.
Yes, and the case is they're making human-like. Why?
Make them seem
People
more
like it.
friendly.
More friendly, so that you don't freak out.
Yeah,
I'd
people
rather have a
like
friendly dog.
that
Robot dog.
to look at something that is similar to us. Why? It's a big question of how we think, how we interact, how we deal with other people, and how we try to find ourselves on this planet. So we think that mostly robots, I agree with, I forgot your name?
Adam.
Adam. I agree with Adam that possibly both. We'll have some machines that are like vacuum cleaners, and we probably will have some robots that will be like Asimov, like what Honda is doing. Another opinion that is Ray Kurzweil brings to people, that we can be half. People can be half robots, hybrids. Do you have an idea what does he mean?
Yes.
Well, just let someone else answering.
Like a robotic arm.
Huh?
Robotic arm.
Okay.
Eyes,
Huh?
the eyes.
Good
and
guess.
ears. We have that
Absolutely.
now.
Absolutely. What about nanoparticles? Okay, yeah, we come closer. So I'm not sure that it was quite popular topic, but Sergey Brin invested, I'm not sure, 50 or 150 million dollars into nano robotics that they're gonna inject to all Google employees to get data out of our blood. Why? No, it's very practical question. Why do they want to get information from our blood?
DNA.
Future donorship.
Mm-hmm.
So in case you do anything wrong, they'll
Absolutely.
identify you a lot faster.
Absolutely. Look, people like wearable gadgets where we have like blood pressure, temperatures, a lot of things are measured, but still it's external information. We don't have much access to what's chemistry is going on inside ourselves. So they're going to inject these nanoparticles into our blood and get these data out of it. I think it's really important to get better understanding about possible diseases like Alzheimer or cancer that could be actually caught on the early stages. So another thing very important that Google did, and I'm not sure that this was also quite popular, that they already got the measurements of neurons in our brains. So just a couple of weeks ago, Ray Kurzweil announced that they have an access to our neurons, and now they can collect all data that is going, like electric impulses are in our brains. So it means that in the next 5-10 years, they can collect all this data and build real neuron computer, because it's a big question for Google to make artificial intelligence. So I had some pictures. I was not able to bring a bigger projector. Sorry for that, but I'll share the presentation with everyone. When we speak about robots, we fear that they can be a threat, right, to us. And we watched it in different movies like Terminator, but some robots are already doing their job in military forces. So I would say that some robots. Did anyone watch the movie Eye in the Sky? It's just so they just have a flying drone somewhere. They start a missile and no one, can find it out. And I would be actually, if someone didn't watch it, I really encourage you, because it's very strong in terms of psychology and the way of people, how people make a decision, what is right and what is wrong. So the thing is that absolutely automated robot and automated drone can make its own decisions. So for instance, you have terrorists or someone they have to kill. They upload a face and this robot is flying and tracking. So it could be good to protect country, to protect democracy, but it could be bad if it's going to be hacked or someone's getting control of it. Another thing where we think that robots can bring harm to our way of life is where we need more human relations. So how many of you were pissed off when you call to a bank or insurance company and you hear automated system? You have a problem, right? You want to call, you want to share, you just cannot go to your internet bank and you just need it immediately. You have a transaction that is waiting, you cannot wait, and you have to press 1, press 2, wait. So, you know why it pisses us off? Because we need some relations, we need emotions, we need to share. And I'm not sure that how many of you watched a movie called Elysium, where he was caught to the police, and this police officer was asking him very stupid questions. So when we have to get emotions, we need to express, and we need to get some feedbacks. It's something where robots are not perfectly fit, but still bankers and insurance companies, they keep, you know, running these, how they call it, digital receptionists that make these automated systems. I would say that in Russia we have some bank that they went back to real people who are answering to, you can press 0 and they would connect you to a real person, and I think it's a pretty good deal. So when I asked about robots, where we use them in our daily life, like vacuum cleaners, dishwasher, I would say that it's a simple robot because it does its specific function and it's pretty robotized. We still need someone to put it in the dishwasher, but it could be another step. There are some companies that are working on drones, flying drones, that can be firefighters. So as far as some fire departments, they deal with very aggressive fires, they have to send drone inside a building to find out survivors, pets, and it's where robot can be really useful because you can save lives with this, and you cannot risk with your fireman to go inside. So we think that using flying drones for this technology is absolutely important. Another case I'm going to talk is about self-driven cars. So what do you think about that?
Just great.
Dangerous but creative.
Dangerous?
But creative.
Okay. Other opinions?
I agree with you.
Dangerous? Why do you think it's dangerous?
Well, from what I've seen, they've done a pretty good job of not being dangerous, but I kind of like my hands on the brakes. My foot on the brakes, my hands on the wheel. I'm too old to change. But I don't mind them taking over to a certain point as long as I can control it when I want to control it. It's kind of like automatic, you know, cruise control.
Do you use cruise control?
Sometimes, but my foot's got
Okay,
perfect
yeah, you.
70.
Okay,
My foot knows exactly how to push it to 70 and let it stay all the way.
I would say something like that gives up our freedoms of going where we want to go, when we want to go.
Or
and
turn
where.
at the last minute.
Yeah, so we see
Well,
something.
you just
Like
drive.
a yard sale.
Yeah.
And we want to go to that yard sale, but this thing's already been programmed to take us somewhere else.
Okay,
so
you just
that
drive
could be very
40 miles
frustrating.
an hour, just straight, and then you want it on right.
Yeah,
left.
I do it all day long with my books.
Okay, that's your choice. That's wonderful.
That's why it would be safer.
Well, no, we missed all those garage sales at
I mean, what happened? Program, you can't have.
For the female drivers, you have to put a certain amount of randomness in the software.
I understand.
George, also
Haphazard
recently
pattern
there
design.
was an article, they were testing a car and I think it was Jeep, it was hacked.
Yeah, I was just telling
Yeah,
people
they were
before that,
hacked.
I was thinking that was Chrysler, but you say it was
It
Jeep?
was Jeep.
Okay.
Jeep,
Yeah.
And then they hacked it.
Yeah.
But do you know Nobel Prize winner, I forgot his name, Nash? Who
Oh,
was,
yeah.
you know how he died? In a car accident with his wife. He was like 90-plus-year-old, and he took a taxi and he got into a car accident. So he couldn't do anything about it.
I like the cars that can stop themselves before you get in an accident. I think that's a good idea.
Well, that's partly robotized, but we're thinking about just self-driven cars. Okay, another question. How many hours a day you spend driving?
8.5.
8.5 a day? Probably too much.
What do you do? That's your job.
Bus driver.
Okay, that's another story.
A self-driven
do
school
that
bus.
anytime.
Oh, that would be
No.
something.
Yeah, actually, that would be awesome.
Yeah, but look, in
Yeah.
airports, they already have these trains that are fully automated.
Oh, yes, that's right.
No one's scared.
We're forgetting about
I mean, you're already in airport in Chicago, and it's all automated. You just go in, go out, and it's fully automated. And no one's
That's why
complaining.
they steal all our luggage, because it's automated.
That's an enclosed situation, though. That's not out on public streets.
Another thing that with self-driven cars, what we understand is more automated cars would be on road, safer it will be. Because then computers, these robots, can talk to each other. So now, if we have like 5 people and 1 robot, so this robot doesn't know how to deal with the rest 5 people. But when we have 5 robots, self-driven cars, and only 1 real driver, so they'll feel much better. If we have no human on the roads driving a car, no human factor. So these robots then can exchange all information. You, Adam, probably know that Parrot made, I don't know how to say it in English, but when robots can exchange and make their own network, and they can predict different behavior. So then probably you can sit in a car and it can drive in city like 100 miles an hour, just as fast as, because it can get all data from other driven cars. And it will be, trust me, it will be quite safe until, well, we hope until someone's get hacked them. But you know, it's always a question. Someone can hack your cell phone, but you still use it. And you don't afraid, most of you use Google accounts, and they're also, you know, not so safe, well, in some cases. What I'm trying to say that more robots and self-driven cars will be on roads, will have more time, and we believe that it can be safer. Another thing why we believe that it's going to happen, because people like you, we have to compete with each other to get a job, to get better education, and it means that we have to save our time to be with our family, time to relax, to sleep even. I like to sleep in a car, not of course while I'm driving, but when someone's taking me into somewhere, I always go to the back seat and take a nap. I like it, so.
Now that I think about it, the automated cars could be a worse thing than I thought, because it might eliminate the possibility of the accident, if you were to get into one, being the other person's fault, because the robot identifies where your car is, and if the robot glitches, it's a robot, so eventually it's going to get more reliable than not, you know.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, no, the attorneys will still sue you because you own the car.
That's a big risk. I mean, it still has to be regulated. If it's an accident, and then you have like
Much less likely, but they'd have, I would assume that they would have some kind of a memory, just like your computer does, right? So they could go back in and say, okay, this one's the one that glitched. Yeah.
Yeah, probably it should be some sort of just like black boxes and planes. Where you can just get. What about waiters, robot waiters?
Yeah.
They're doing that now.
Where?
And well, they're delivering I saw it on the internet
Okay.
where the restaurant was having, you ordered at your table to a screen, and then a robot delivered the food to the table.
That's a good point. We actually started working on this, so as soon as we're making this TED Live Show talk, I'm not able to advertise and tell about what we're doing, just to be polite to what TED Show is. But yeah, you're absolutely right. This technology is coming, but why we also think about it and why we think it's necessary. So how much time you normally spend waiting for a waiter in a restaurant? Did you have made some calculations? Okay, when you come in and you sit, you wait for a menu, right? Then you wait when he'll take your order, when he'll bring it to you. Then what really pisses me off, when I'm ready to go home and I want to go home right now, and I wait for a bill, I wait for a change, and sometimes credit card is not working, so he cannot accept. So yes, can you give another card? I give another card. He come back again. Oh, sorry, our terminal is not working. We accept cash only. Yeah, and you know, I just made these calculations. Every time I go to even drink a coffee, not a Starbucks. Starbucks is a different story where you just order and you take your coffee and you don't wait. But normally like 10, 20 minutes. When I speak to different managers in this restaurant, they tell me, okay, most of people come to a restaurant for a mood, for a conversation, for a talk with a waiter. Raise your hands. How many of you go to a restaurant to talk to a waiter? You know, I was telling them, it's kind of strange because people go to have dinner with their family, with their friends, but they probably don't really care about the person who is, I mean, if you go to top restaurants, okay, if you have a Ritz-Carlton and you want some experience to be served in a good manner, when the guy is white tie and he's just doing, polite things. But yeah, normally we don't care. We go to a restaurant because we want to eat, we want to have dinner, and if we want to get experience, more likely we want to get it from our friends, family. Sometimes I want to talk. Sometimes I don't want even, what actually bothers me that I work in a bank and every day went to the same restaurant to have lunch. And every time that waiter or different waiters, they came and asked what I'm going to order. Why are they asking me? I've been so many times. They should learn what I order. I don't believe that like thousands of people are going there, but they didn't even ask me, would you like the same? I mean, probably the top restaurants like, who read the book by Leslie Waller, the banker? Did anyone read it, the book, Leslie Waller? So it was a story when he visited top class restaurants. So waiters, they came to the, would you like a bourbon with ice as usual, Mr. Leslie? I forgot the name of the character. So it's a little bit different, but normally we expect robot can learn very quickly. Once it recognizes you, remembers, it can come always and say double espresso as usual. You can say yes. You'll just come over, say double espresso. It goes to the kitchen, barman brings it back. You're happy. What is happening on the market right now? I would say that global trend for robotics is already started to take over. So we see, and not only we, but top companies like Gartner and C. Nielsen, they already see this upcoming trend for robotics. That's why probably, how many of you heard about drones 10 years ago? 10 years ago.
Well, give or take a few.
Exactly 10 years ago, like 2005.
No.
How many of you know about drones now?
2005. Yeah, 2005.
You see, and this is gonna, okay, another question about 3D printers. 5 years ago. 5 years ago? Okay.
Yeah.
Another?
About what?
3D printers.
3D printers?
Okay, so how many of you know about them now? So it's getting, give me an answer. When this technology was technically possible, 3D printing? Adam, I'm gonna police you. When 3D printers technically were possible?
Probably 20 years
When?
ago.
Even more. Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about?
3D printers technically were possible about 20, 30 years ago. But they're going to take off now. Well, it's another thing of that market is ready and something is changed, but it's like, I would say, just time has come for this technology to take off. And we see different interesting technologies that are also coming. You know, I was actually wondering why Palm computers didn't take off. Did anyone use Palm? I mean, it was like middle of 19th, right? But people didn't use them. People liked when Steve Jobs came and said, hey, we have iPhone, buy iPhones.
Oh, yes.
It's gonna blow up the market.
Right. Oh, you mean like the Palm Pilot? Then, yes, you're right.
So it's a question of marketing, how you bring it. So probably Palm was not so great. They
Blame
had
Hewlett
some-
Packard for their demise.
So they had some lags and some problems, some bugs. They were black and white. But the thing they didn't have iTunes. They didn't have apps.
No.
They didn't have iTunes. They didn't have this infrastructure. Building and you know, it's another thing I'm wondering. So Microsoft, they're trying to get the Nokia and Lumia system on the market, and they even try to pay people, developers, like I was wondering, like 50 or 100 bucks to create an app. So no one's, you know, using. How many of you use Windows cell phones? But you know, Bill Gates would be very unhappy with that because they invest billions of dollars taking it on the market because they think that it's going to compete. But what we have now, we have Android and iOS, and it's kind of you know, good products. People don't know what to do next. Another thing I want you to a little bit highlight and to educate you that we have some predictions about what's going to be in the next 5-10 years in terms of robotics technology going to be more and more popular. So do you think that there will be robot writers in the internet who will write content?
They already are.
So think
When you
about it.
speak script, when you there's an app where you can talk into it
And
there's-
even more, so like financial statements, balance sheets.
It's true.
So Gartner thinks that about 20% of all internet content in the next 2-3 years will be written by robots. So you just upload balance sheet, income statement, and they write all text for you. So you have white paper for investors, read, well written, that we had these parameters that increase, these go down, here is a chart, here is everything you need, diagram. So it could be done. We think that it's also a big, not a threat, but something that will be replaced by artificial, well, not really artificial, but robotized things. Another thing that Gartner is thinking that it will be about 6 billion devices, IoT devices, Internet of Things that are connected to Internet, and they will all require support. So what if these devices will break? Someone has to fix that. Another thing that I'm actually a bit scared. Do you use elevators when you go some big cities downtown? Please, next time you do it, not next time, but maybe in like 5 years, please read carefully how it is controlled. Gartner predicts that in next 2018, well, we'll have about 20% of environment can be vandalized. So someone can get control of this environment. So what if someone will decide to stop an elevator while you're there? Think about it. I mean, it's not happening, but trust me, it's very likely that it's going to be a threat if we don't think how to protect. I mean, people are so excited to use Wi-Fi things, you know, lights in our house that we have like flash or like apps that can, you know, turn off lights, turn it on, just do a lot of nice things, but we don't think about how it's protected. If it's well protected, if someone can get an access to it. What if you are flying, you have a flight to, let's say, New York, visit your friends, and your home is connected to these wireless devices, so someone can get in, turn on all your electric devices, and try to find out if you have good electric wires or not. It could be a lot of fun, especially if you have a Wi-Fi camera that allows to see what's going on. But people don't think about it, and we believe that technology is going, it's upcoming, we like it, but we have to also think if it's well protected, and our property isn't safe. Another thing that Gartner thinks that about 45% of companies will require their employees to work distantly. So how many of you do your work remotely? 1, 2. Okay. So they think that it could be another trend. So most of people will do their job not in the office. So I can do my job sitting anywhere where I have Wi-Fi. It was interesting diagram. Can we use it? Sure. Have to improvise a little bit. I was thinking how we can use it now. Oh. Okay. Yeah. So the pyramid of our demands that we have on the beginning, we have on the bottom we have like food, then we have like place to live, so this thing, so what is on the top? Money? Okay, go out. So the last thing we want in this life, money, it should be somewhere here.
Oxygen?
Well, probably some near food, like drink, probably oxygen, yeah.
Wi-Fi.
Where?
No.
No, at the beginning. Here.
Oh, yeah, sure.
We need Wi-Fi.
Gotta go all the way through.
Okay, and also I'm gonna ask you, even before that, what
Devices.
Yes.
Water.
Huh?
Devices.
We need a charger for our cell phone.
You gotta charge first, then you have to have a charge.
Okay. Now. Okay. Let's move it back. So, another thing that Gartner predicts that we'll have about 2 million people all over different companies should wear wearable devices. Why?
More convenient.
For
You don't have to
what?
worry about dropping and breaking them.
Okay, more convenient for what?
More convenient for everyday use, more convenient for,
Have you ever worked somewhere?
Yes.
Where?
Wait, worked or?
Yes, worked. Have you worked full time?
No.
Okay.
But that's,
So they keep track of you?
They go.
Obviously. So now they can track
They can track you and they can get you busy when you're not supposed to be busy and not necessarily pay you.
Yeah, that's a good point. We don't know what's going to happen, but companies and employees, they are going to accept it. So we'll have wearable devices.
Like a swipe card with a chip in it?
We don't know. We know that they're talking about wireless devices that they can also get some information. So for probably while you're driving a bus, they can also have a.
Look at cameras and.
Yeah, but still they can
radios
find out. You know, I was working in a project. We had a biometric solution that we wanted to track people how they feel while driving. So with the wearable devices before self-driven cars.
Make sure you don't have a heart
Look at
attack.
blood pressure, skin sensitivity, yourself getting excited or.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Also like blood pressure.
That would be good for certain health conditions,
You
yeah.
guys can take surveys.
It's medical.
Surveys while you, like, that you use it for surveys.
Yes, they can.
Right now, while I'm working, they can see if I'm working, and if I'm not at my keyboard, they can measure how many minutes I'm away from my keyboard. I can see it and they can see it.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes it's strange because Steve Jobs said we have to work with our head, not 8 hours a day. It's 8 hours a day, yes. It doesn't matter how many, I mean, unless you're a receptionist or you're typing a text.
Well, they don't do anything about it, but I'm just saying that they can see it, they can measure it, I can see it, I can see what they can see.
Well, that's like, they know how fast I'm going, they know when I stop, they know if I'm idling,
Mm-hmm.
they know, they can monitor the inside of it now with the new radios. It provides Wi-Fi, well, not Wi-Fi, but 3G.
Yeah, it's a good technology, and I know several startups that they measure gasoline consumption. You have that track route where you stay, why you stay there.
Well, that's the computers probably in the vehicle.
But they try to measure almost everything. I don't know why is the reason if you don't trust person to hire him and
Yeah, believe me, the cameras help.
yeah. So
They say you're rear.
so I would like to ask you, where do you think robots can help us in the next 5 to 10 years? So we spoke a little bit about theory and about, no, Adam, let's keep someone
In the medical field,
medical field.
my husband had robotic surgery last year, and he's having robotic kidney surgery again in a couple weeks. And the surgeon stands over in a corner with joysticks, I guess, I don't know, and it's all done robotically, so.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good point.
Understand.
Another thing that is not really clear for me is how doctors will stay in this market. I mean, it means that they might be, what, replaced? Or
Yeah.
what is the average wage of a doctor in America?
Too
Okay, no one's doctor yet? Like 200, 300,000 a year?
I would think that the doctor would always still need to be present because once they, say, do an incision and they may see a different approach that needs to be happen, the robot may be only have one mission. They may have that mission to go in there and do the surgery one way, but when they open the patient up, they may need to deviate the plan and go another route. So I think the doctor would still need to be present to make those adjustments.
I might be mistaken, but correct me if I'm wrong. I read in articles that in America, more people die after wrong treatment.
True.
Correct.
That is correct.
Why does it happen?
After being in the hospital too.
I mean, why?
Human error.
I don't know what, I mean, I've never been.
So maybe we should leave it up to the robots.
But you know, I understand that if you are in Russian hospitals, the best way is just to die as soon as possible. You never know because they'll just tell you you have to do this, and they, you know. I think that American doctors, they're more polite. They, try to keep you in a good mood. In Russia, it's completely different.
No, they just want you to
shout
come
at
back
you,
more.
say, "Hey, what? You see, I'm busy. Whatever."
Well, here they want you to come back more so they can get more money.
Yeah, it's completely different because doctors are well off here in Russia. Average doctor's salary is about couple thousand. Well, I think $1,000, $2,000 a year.
No way.
Is it? Is it something that's scary? Maximum, I would say that it's like an average doctor in average clinic. Some of them get like $5,000–$10,000 a month. It's hardly can be like 100 a year, 100,000 a year. But most of doctors from government clinics, they don't get more than $200. Yeah, we are lucky. In some cases, we still have free medicine, but it's another topic. But let's move further. Where do you think robots can? Okay, medicine, Medicare,
Preparing food.
Building.
Cleaning
building.
the house.
They already made something. Have
Yeah.
anyone
Oh, they're no good.
not good?
I've gone through 2 of them.
What?
I wrote.
The Roomba?
No. He was stating about building. Who's building houses? They're telling some companies are working on a big 3D printers that can actually use concrete.
Yeah, they already got like 3 of them up in, they've got 2 companies in China, I believe, and they've got 1 company in America right now. They actually got, I believe it was 3 companies in Japan that they basically went on a practice one. They built 6 houses in 1 day with 2 machines.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty interesting technology when you can do these kind of things with that. So another guess is,
They can do body parts.
huh?
They can do body parts 3D
Okay.
for animals and humans.
Just, food prep.
Food.
Food prep.
Tell me.
Like preparing food.
What do
Like
you?
breakfast.
Okay, you have. Okay, let's take a look. You have a stove.
Maybe
you have
it-
oven.
maybe
You
it
have
chops-
microwave. What else do you need?
Chop
Someone
the
please hurry.
onions, put them in the pan, and bring it to me.
I like this idea. I definitely like it. There's, my partner, he's actually working on a 3D printer that can print a pizza.
Oh,
They're-
real pizza?
But real pizza? Well, sort of, because you cannot. It uses liquid parts to go into through the pump to extruder, like liquid pepperoni tastes miserable. Well, if you're hungry, but he's not doing it. But he's not doing it for our life. Guess who needs this?
The astronauts.
Astronauts, yeah.
He's working for his NASA subcontract, and he's making it for ISS, International Space Station. Because you cannot send pizza to space station. Hey guys, we have a new pizza. Please open the door. Oh no. Yeah, so printer that can print food is a good option, but
I was thinking more like a robot that would prepare it, cook it, and bring it to you.
but we have to be careful, because then in restaurants like in McDonald's or Burger King, then they already have almost everything robotized.
Well, we don't put them on business.
Some of them will.
They're not healthy.
So another guess is about
I want to live in handyman robot.
handyman.
Yeah, they would do repairs in the house.
Oh,
Do
okay.
laundry.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. Make him good looking while you're at it.
Yeah, I always tell people I already found this robot. It's my wife. And she's always pissed off, and she says, no, I am not your slave, I am not your servant, I am your wife, it's something different, you have to learn. And she's bringing me new books, how to deal with, how businessman or busy guy should deal with a woman, especially when she's sitting 3rd year of her life with my child, and she's always keep telling me this, that it's completely different. And actually what she's expecting me to help her. And yeah, I was telling her, I will make robot that will do all this job. And she said, no, you don't understand, women. I don't want robot. I don't want it to be done. I want you to show that you care about me. Okay, look at these guys. So another guess is?
Law enforcement?
Law enforcement, yes.
Childcare.
Childcare.
We have some, I'm going to show you some slides. Did anyone watch the movie Automata? Automata? No? They have actually nice slides that they state that robots for in medical care could be a good option. That's why I was wondering. And it's also a question, when we are in the hospital, so what do we expect? Do we expect a treatment or do we expect a support? So, yes, if we expect a good treatment, then the robot can definitely give it to us. If we expect support, then,
The nurse has to give it
well, take care of newborns. Like was said that help with kids. My wife, she'll kill me if I make this wrong.
Yeah,
She'll
I
tell
don't
me,
agree with that.
she'll bring me to hell if I make it.
Yeah.
Teaching children and some school helping with education. When we talk about wealthy schools and private schools and even public schools in America, it could be not a big deal. But if we go to Africa, they still require new knowledges and someone who can teach them. I doubt that in Kenya or Somalia they have a lot of computers and things that can. But what if, let's say, what if humanity can create robots that can teach children? Then you can send them to Africa. They can help with their education. Yeah, it's not a real person who's teaching, but showing math and showing basic laws of physics, chemistry, writing could be an opportunity to help some people, some teenagers, not to become gangsters, and to do something in their life. What about restoring cities after disasters? I'm living my brother's house in Yusefa, and after Charlie hurricane, they needed about 2 years on the island. They have like 500 houses there to rebuild them. So definitely robots could speed it up, just at least in transportation, at least at some cases. But I'm going to take you back to responsibility. So if we have a robot that is doing something, let's say he's pre-programmed and he is doing what we want him to do. So do we want him to be pre-programmed to do something more, or we don't? So who's going to take responsibility?
Another robot.
Robot, yeah. Good point. Robot after all, it's just like American politician system is working. Everyone is taking responsibility, right? Yeah, but if you're talking about technology, someone should be at the end of this.
Would it not come down to the programmer?
Yeah.
To a
It's a
degree.
big question.
I mean, to a degree, I think it would have to. I think it would, even with our American legal system, it would worm its way down to where it would be the programmer, because I think we've all heard the saying, a computer's only as smart as the person that programmed it.
Yeah, I've heard this. There were like a couple years ago, it was a flash crash on Google. So do you have an idea how many visits a day Google have on their page, just google.com? Huh? Billions. 6 billions of requests daily. And one guy just shut down all Google for like 2 or 3 minutes. So they have very strict policy. So it's almost impossible to run a broken file on all servers. But somehow he did it. And for like 2 or 3 minutes, Google didn't respond. That guy became very famous inside of Google after doing this. But it shows that this policy was not that good. And it's also a question: who is responsible? He, his boss, or no one, because it's like a global mistake. So what I'm going to tell you the worth story about robotics, that Gartner predicts that about 80% of all current jobs by the 2025 will be replaced by robots. Yeah, some of you will be very skeptical, and I know why. Gartner once made a big mistake when they said, made a research about iPhone, and they said this product will never take off. It's a big mistake of Steve Jobs. He's crazy. So now everyone's make fun of Gartner, but still, you know, it's you know Gartner, do you? So they still do a good job and try to help people and engineers. But what actually is probably frightening, that what these 80% of people who would lose their jobs, what will they do? Drivers. Do you know the strategy of Uber? Do you know?
Yes, Uber is everywhere now.
But do you know what's their next step is?
No.
Do you know what Uber is going to make?
I believe they're gonna make driving robots.
Yes. So yes. Uber is using every one of us who is using Uber, driving or taking Uber as a test to make the computer driving. So it means that all these happy people, happy drivers who use Uber to earn money, and I know why, because you can work like 2 hours a day when you don't sleep at night, or start driving whenever you want. And I, as a consumer, I use Uber because it's very convenient. Anywhere in the world, I run Uber app and I take a taxi and I go to any place and I know that it's the cheapest price. I mean, in terms of how they did it and why they did it, it's really a good product. But their global vision to replace drivers. So what people gonna do about it? I mean, I've been in California, you know, and I was, you know, very surprised when I took an Uber taxi, and a few guys were shouting at me and yelling, "Hey, you're using Uber. If you got into a car accident, no one's gonna cover your costs for treatment, and you're doing, these guys are taking our job." So, but think about it. If it's true, and if they finally do it, I mean, I'm here in Cape Coral talking to you about this. We cannot stop it. It's just something that's going on, and it's just, we're talking about our attitude. We're talking about how we can live with this.
We can't compete with a robot.
Yeah, we cannot stop this technology. I mean, we can go to demonstration even after tonight and say, hey, let's stop robotics technology. But right now, we don't know it. Like I said, you don't even know this strategy of Uber, because probably they don't want to be, you know, quite aggressive, so people wouldn't, you know.
But see, you're talking about the responsibility too of the Uber, because when you, like they were saying, you get in that car, you don't know that guy's got enough insurance to cover an accident.
No, you don't. But you still, you understand that you have, you know, probably not legal driver, because probably he doesn't pay. Or we don't know.
Yeah.
But
You don't
still,
know.
it's a big question. How
They'll never
we gonna-
replace the lawyers.
It's gonna make a new branch of law.
As far I liked the last movie with the Downey Jr. and he said, yes, you can take any lawyer if you can afford me. If you're in a car accident. But yeah, just think about it. If like 80% of all jobs will be replaced, so it's a big issue what most of us would do. Like robots will replace waiters, drivers will be like self-driven cars, and you don't need, I would say even worse, because then share economy will take an action when you don't have private car. You don't need it. You can go to sit in someone's car and they'll drive you. So just cars will just drive you all around, and if you need to go from one direction to another, you just have to pay for car and gasoline. That's pretty much it. It might be another step of share economy when people don't own different things, but they share a lot. It's also another topic. It's kind of difficult, but
That could be a problem.
but this is a threat that we have to think about.
It's already been done. Our neighbor, Gil Manny, he designed the first computer disk for IBM. It was a 9-inch disc.
I thought it was 8, 9, 8.
Well, they never put this out on the market. I mean.
Okay, it was 8,
That was
okay. 9,
prototype.
okay.
And when after a while, they had him design a program to do the work he was doing.
Mhm.
And after he designed it and it was working right, they fired him.
The game of the golden goose egg.
Well, they just charged him nicely, but I mean, he programmed himself out of a job.
But the
With
population
IBM.
is growing too, and if the population is growing and there are no jobs, then what do we do?
So it's gonna be, you know, tough time in the next 10, 20 years. I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, most of people can get into, you know, things and fields where robots can't be used, like art. Do you think that it's also a big question? So do you think that if 80% of people, let's say a couple billions of people, so it will be like a couple billions of artists? I mean, it's something that has to be determined by government, by policy, by education. So because then you have to educate people to help them to get a new job, and also think what kind of job it would be. I like, you know, in most American movies they show guys who fixing robots. So it could be an issue when you have a lot of people who maintain and support. I would say that like programmers nowadays, I mean, there are a lot of software engineers. There's no software engineers back to 70s, right? Not so much things to program now. A lot of people write different apps, different solutions. So humanity can still find what to do and how to be busy.
Well, won't robots be fixing robots?
It's another question. So we believe it. If no one watched the movie Automata, I also encourage you to watch it. It's pretty interesting. So one protocol in that movie that was pre-programmed, that robot must never ever replace or repair himself. Because if he can do it, it means that he has some understanding and that he can improve himself. So in this movie they state that robots must be in a way they were built by a human. Or what is stated in this movie, this robot can be a procreation of a human. As soon as these robots in the movie, they started to fix themselves. They started to learn how to do it. They replace, because what is our knowledge? When we do something, we make and try. So what if robots can always make and try? But we can try like 1, 10, 100 variants. Robots can try millions. And if he finds the better solution, then every time he's changing it, he'll just improve within like months, days, hours, minutes.
You know, once we're all robotic, where are we getting the source for the energy or the electricity or the?
Well, I would say that it's not a big deal. I mean, we have so many.
I can't keep my phone charged.
Well, probably you speak too much.
Sorry. You're right.
Well, but I would say that back to 70s when a lot of companies and government they told that it could be a risk of, you know, energy problem, that will be lack of energy on the earth. It's not likely we have this problem. We have solar power, we have winds. The problem is, I would say, that most oil companies, they want to keep control over resources. So do you believe that Tesla can bring his cars to everyone? I don't think so. I think that some companies like General Motors, Chrysler, Ford, and some gas and oil monopolies, they probably don't want it to happen in the next next couple of years. They have so many resources, they invested so much money into, and look at oil prices now, it's like $40, $45, and we all know that they can be lower than that. I have research that I read that Saudi Arabia can afford as low as $4 per gallon or per barrel for oil. So it's pretty, you know, pretty cheap. So I don't think that we have a big issue with energy problem, at least like in the next decade or so. But you're right that it could be an issue. I think that robotics evolution can also start to happen. We have vacuum cleaners, then they got upgraded. They can do grass chopper, then they can wash your window and become a help in a garden, just chop trees, etc. Yeah, what's a robot that can bring dirty dish into your dishwasher? Possibly. We don't know. Like robots, I've seen 1.5 years in Las Vegas, Consumer Electronic. They already showed a robot that can clean solar panels. So it's also an issue. I don't think that we need them here on Earth as much as we would need them in space. I think that robots would be more important for some other things like this. I'm sure that some of you can see this ugly picture. But some people might consider that it's quite natural having these kind of robots. I was actually thinking
that would be the cure to safe sex.
I would.
Yeah.
I was trying to tell you a little bit about space and about the technology where robots can be actually more practical. So when we talk about robots, we think that they can be really useful, not here on Earth, maybe in a space when we try to move and to build a basis on asteroids, on Moon, on Mars. And have you seen the movie Martian and read books? Probably if that guy would have a robot with him, he wouldn't be, you know, so upset. He would probably have some support, and this robot could grow potato for him and take care of that he'll not explode anything. It's a good point because I spoke to several NASA people, and most of them are very upset with what NASA is doing right now because NASA is not investing enough time and efforts into thinking of going to other building bases like on Mars, on Moon, and different asteroids. But I actually like that, I'm not sure that most of you know that Yuri Milner, Russian, we call him oligarch, rich guy, and with Stephen Hawking, they're going to send a small robot to Alpha Centauri, and it's gonna get like 20% of light speed. You know, it's pretty interesting because if they find something really cool there, then it's another way where robots can be useful. So I probably will skip this part because I think that you're already pretty tired. I just want to finalize where robots can never compete with us, with humans. The first is with the feelings. So robots, according to what we know now, they don't have feelings. So they cannot feel, they cannot smell, they cannot see. Nothing wakes their emotions. So robots, I can hardly imagine how robots will react and how they will like or dislike Ninth Symphony of Beethoven, Mahler, Schubert, Dvorak. They all have 9 symphonies. And that's it's another story why they have 9 symphonies. But this is something that robots have no way to compete with us, with the
Aren't
feelings.
you already using them to write music though?
I would say that they call it sometimes fractional music. When they have different templates, they put it all together and they make these sort of combinations. But I cannot imagine that someone will beat Beethoven in his composition, just a robot, because you can never make it pre-programmed. So what is creativity? What is eureka? When you have an insight, when you have some emotions that are goes from you. And the last miracle, the love, robots will never love. Especially, we are living on Earth for how long? A couple thousand years, maybe more, maybe millions, we don't know. We still don't know. And we still argue what is love. We don't find a solution. Is this like a chemical processes? Is it something more? Is it something we cannot describe? So, and it's even too hard to pre-program. So I would say that's even impossible. Before we find out what love is, we cannot program it for a computer. That's why I assume that robots will never have this.
And aren't you still gonna have to have the human creativity to do anything? I mean, you might be able to program a robot to make something, but you have to have that thought. That robot's not gonna have that thought.
Still, you have to either give him a tool to find this creativity, or you just pre-program him, and then it's not creativity. So I'm not sure that you're aware that most of great inventions were made by accident. Microwave, X-rays, even potato chips, cornflakes were invented by accident. A lot of things were invented because we make mistakes. It's part of our nature. So I thank you everyone for coming tonight, and I hope you enjoyed it. And by the end, I wanted to share something that is really my own feeling, that I cannot